Since this policy was announced, interest rates have gone up a great deal. Let me just illustrate this for you. When it was announced, they were at 0.1%, basically zero. They're now at 5.25%. What that does to the cost of government borrowing is it means it's £70 billion a year more to service that debt now than it was when the policy was announced. And anyone watching this programme who's had to refinance their own mortgage in the last year or so will understand that those kind of interest rates have an impact on your borrowing costs. So the economics made a difference here, but there's another point to remember in this. Although we've made a change, and a change is always difficult about these things, let us not lose sight of what has been kept here, because what's been kept through a different balance of financing between windfall taxes and borrowing is GB Energy, a publicly owned energy company to help drive the transition, a national wealth fund that will invest in things like green steel for the future in our ports, and an important home insulation programme that will help to get bills down. So we've preserved a lot as well as making the change.
I would like to come to those points, if I may, but let me just deal with your first point. You say that the economics have changed. Interest rates have been the same for the last 2 months. And Labour spokesperson after Labour spokesperson has come on this programme and said, 28 billion, it's gonna stick. What has changed? It isn't the interest rates that's changed. Is it just that you got to the stage where you, particularly, it's reported, have been trying to get Keir Starmer to drop this for months? Is it the point that actually you realise that this was an electoral albatross and you, Pat McFadden, finally prevailed?
No, look, I read these stories and I don't recognise about them. This is a decision taken by Keir Starmer.
That's very disappointing. I don't hear people saying Pat McFadden hadn't been ruthless enough very often.
Look, it's not about me. It's about the right thing to do. And of course, we took time to look at this. We want to step up to the plate on green transition. So you can debate that it should have been done 2 months ago or it should have been done after the budget. You can debate the timing. You can debate the elegance. Neither of those are important in the end. What's important is getting to the right position. And there's another point that's often lost in this debate, Trevor. The radicalism of a policy should not just be about the amount of public borrowing involved in it. And that's particularly true of the green transition. When it comes to the green transition, most of the investment in making it happen will come from the private sector. And part of the problem about the endless interviews that you and every other broadcaster was doing was all we were talking about was a borrowing figure. We weren't talking about green steel. We weren't talking about investment in the ports. We weren't talking about warm homes.
Okay,
we weren't talking about the establishment of GB Energy.
My next question
we were only talking
about
a borrowing figure.